hello, Monty. How are you?
Oh, great. Where are you? Which part of the world are you?
I'm calling you from Frankfurt, also outside of Italy, like you
Oh,
are.
my goodness me. You know that I was a Tischtennis Spieler. I was playing table tennis professionally. And my club was in near Stuttgart, in Pluderhausen. So I spent like 3 years back and forth in Germany. And so I have big memories about Germany.
Yeah, you've been everywhere from what I know. And I was thinking how to introduce you as quick as possible for the international audience. And I would say you're the Italian flavored Gary V. I don't know if you like this definition, but it's what I come up with.
Oh my God, Gary V curses so much comparing with me. But I have also my little cursing here and there, but there are little words, like cazzo, Gary V goes full in, all in.
But that's why Italian flavor, because you are more, you have the Italian style.
Yeah, definitely. I've interviewed Gary V before he was Gary V, when he was just launching Binary Media. And I was really impressed because it's really, you could understand that guy, he was going to do something big, when you meet someone that you think, this guy, you cannot stop this guy. So he got a great success.
I found you, I think 5 years ago or so, when you first started posting your videos more actively on YouTube. When, I don't know, you came to me through the algorithm, and I've been watching a lot of them, and they're very interesting. And your background, you're a serial tech entrepreneur. And the main interest of today's conversation is your latest project, which are the Crazy Furies, the Monty Labs, which is your collection of NFTs inspired exactly from Gary Vaynerchuk. And I was curious. You do so many things. You have the 4 Books, which is a platform for sum ups of books. You have the Competenze, which is more or less the masterclass from the Italian excellence. And now you have this new project. My curiosity is, how do you start communicating to your audience a new project that it's kind of connected to the one before because it's digital, but how do you come up with putting this seed of NFTs and then coming out with the project?
Yeah. Well, once you have the audience, I have a 3 million strong community across social. And it took me probably 8 years of videos. I started on YouTube for 1.5 years. No one ever watched the videos. Then I moved to Facebook. I was almost quitting because no one was really watching my videos. And it was also frustrating because my background was 7 years on Sky News Italy. I had my television show about technology. So when you do, crappy social media videos and no one watch it, you think, oh, that's it. It's over. I better do something else. But and so it took me 8 years and then to build the community. So once you have the community, it's kind of easy, I would say. My classic framework is I record a video and I say, look, guys, this is my new project, blah, blah, blah. And if you like it, good. If you don't like it, just fuck off. Basically, that's not... Gary Vee would do like that. But more or less, that's how I say it in a nicer way, in an elegant way. But the point is, if you like it, good. If you don't like it, I don't know, a board game. I don't know. I did so many things. Books, board game, video games. And sometimes I got these ideas and I try to execute with my team. And then we offer the project to the audience. If they like it, good. If they don't like it, tomorrow we can see again online and there will be another video, another interview. I do a lot of interviews. And that's it. So it's kind of simple. The difficult bit is building the community. That's the hardest job. Is a huge effort. You really need to love this word, otherwise you will never do it because it's such a huge effort, and every day you have people attacking you, and you have this incredible chaotic environment on social, so you really need to have a strong skin.
Exactly. Yesterday I was talking on our podcast about this, that on our platform we haven't had so many haters yet, so Maybe we haven't managed to piss anyone off yet. But in your communication, was there a tipping point? Because you said it took you 8 years throughout a lot of frustration. Was there a moment where suddenly your video started taking off, or yeah? So it was just a moment where it started going more popular, and then you grew like.
I remember exactly. I was in the kitchen of my old house, and I went to my ex-wife, my wife. And it's my English. I always connect bad. The other day, they said, what did I say? Someone stopped. I called a friend, Jacob, for 2 years. And then he said, Monty, I wanted to tell you something. My name is not Jacob. I said, what do you mean? I mean, do you have a different name? No, my name is Jacob. Is a different way to, you pronounce it different. And I say, yeah, Jacob is the same thing, So I sometimes I mix completely words. So I'm sorry for that. Anyway, yeah, I met my wife in the kitchen, and I say, look, it's 1.5 years. I do videos on YouTube. I was waking up 5:30 every morning, because then my job is I do startups, my little startups. I got also a couple of exits along the years. So but I like that. I launched a new startup, and then I try to build it, get funding, and see if we can exit that. So I was doing that job, and I was trying to build this little media on social media, but it didn't work. And so I say, I'm gonna quit. That's it. It's over. And she said, look, all right, fine. I mean, okay, do whatever you want. But by the way, did you see that Facebook just launched Facebook videos on the platform? You remember there was a moment that Facebook introduced the videos. And I said, look, I work in tech for 20 years. Of course I know. So she said, all right. And she left the article there. She had this article printed. She left it in the kitchen. And then as soon as she go out, I immediately ran to check the article. I had no idea about this new thing. And I thought, Facebook videos, maybe I could try. I'll do a last try. So I uploaded a video on Facebook, and boom, immediately that it worked. I don't even know why. Probably because on Facebook in that moment was there were only videos about, cats and jokes and kids. So it was not really a place to talk about business, marketing, digital, news, commentary, this kind of thing. And that was the moment. And from that moment, then it was just a fast growing, I would say.
And now, as I said in the beginning, you started this new adventure, this new sort of a startup within the NFT world with this 10,000 pieces of NFTs, which are called Crazy Furies, which is one of the expressions that you often use in your videos translated in English. And I was curious because, as you mentioned, you've done some exits and you create startups. I was curious, what kind of entrepreneur are you? Because they're like Elon Musk, it's a lot hands-on. Like he tries to develop the actual product. Are you also very techy, or you're throughout the years you're more the person that coordinates the ideas and make them reality through your connections?
So since we started with Gary Vee, every time he speaks, he's this kind of entrepreneur that, is 24 hours and hustle, and he's really into it and managing people. He loves that. I'm the opposite. I'm exactly the opposite. I'm a fire starter. So I got the idea. I think, wow, that's the idea. Let's do this. I try to get people together and then build a team. And then I helped, with connections and network strategy, promotion. But I try to go away as soon as I can from the day by day, because I'm not good in the day by day. So this is generally how I move. For instance, 4 books is one example. I'm not in the day by day. Also because otherwise it's very difficult to follow so many things. I don't know, Richard Branson. I mean, I think he has 700 companies. He's not in day by day. He's not driving the plane. He's not doing, calls, meetings. Yeah, of course, he has the CEOs reporting to him. So I'm that kind of style. So I'm a very bad entrepreneur, I would say, in general. But I try to do my little things. The interesting thing about this NFT is that it's basically a sort of Be Friends Italian style. and is very. It basically, I would like to get a very intimate community around me, and I think NFT is fantastic, and we already proved it because I mean we sold 2,500 and already in a few days. And it's interesting because on Discord we already have that kind of community that is very passionate, and the relationship is completely different when it's NFT, and then we can talk about it. So yeah, I'm a bad entrepreneur. When I see Elon Musk, I don't know how he can do it. When I see Gary Vee, I don't know how he can do it. But you know, I do my best to do my little things.
You keep it too humble. I think you're a lot the front man, because as you said, you have this audience, which is very important, as you also explain always in your video, that you first have to create the audience, and then first create the client, then create the product. And one thing through your stories that you had this tipping point where you started on Facebook when Facebook launched this new asset in their platform. And now, at what point of the adoption curve of this NFT Web 3.0 are we? Because I am almost 30 years old, and I feel like, oh, this is the first time that I'm seeing like a wave coming, like the .com era or the social media era, and I'm like, oh my god, like, can I still catch it, or is it too late? And this podcast is more oriented to the design world, where we know people and so on. So what do you think? You have informed yourself a lot. Yeah, at which point at the adoption curve are we?
Well, first, I turned 50 this year. So even if I try to be fit for 50, I'm officially old. And I was there when, you know, the .com crash in 2000. I built a company around blogging that I sold the blogging. I remember when Facebook was the Facebook, and I was doing the social media tour in Italy, trying to convince people that social media was interesting for companies, and companies they were laughing all the time. I mean, I did so many things just to try to divulge internet opportunities, digital opportunities in Italy along the years. And you're right. I mean, this is a new evolution, revolution or evolution. I don't know, but definitely something that is massive. Is massive. This Web3, even if Web3 is a buzzword, but basically is where we are heading, and it's very early. So that's the point. I think I was listening to an interview with Jack Dorsey the other day. It was Michael Saylor with Jack Dorsey, and it was very interesting because he said all the questions are right that we are doing now about what kind of alternative we want if we think about Web 2, and we can talk about it, but the answers are still so and so, let's say. So if we take a picture today, there are so many problems. I mean, I just launched an NFT collection, and I had every problem that you can imagine. Scammers, probably 10 scamming collections, frauds with my face on OpenSea, and you report them, and then it takes, I don't know, 20 days before they try to stop these guys, and they keep popping. So scamming, frauds, media saying, NFT is a bubble, is a Ponzi scheme, and everything wrong. The technology feels like, I don't know, you upload your collection and the API broke, shut down. They try to act. I mean, it's a joke basically. But that's the situation now. I remember when it was like that also to publish something online. I remember that there were two like PHP Nuke that was a CMS to publish online, and it was never working. Sometimes it was working and you thought, wow, that's incredible, because you don't have to manually upload through SFTP your files and give permissions to the folders, you know, all these kind of things. So I saw all of this evolution, and today is very early. We are, I mean, NFT, I give you an example. I have a 3 million strong community, and 99% of my community, they don't know what NFTs are. They don't understand what NFTs are. They have no idea about what's a wallet, Why should I have ether, fiat currency? What is fiat? Fiat in Italy is a car, it's a car. So every time they say, but why do I need to buy a car to buy your NFT? I said, no, you have fiat currency. You have to convert. Why do I have to give my car to get so is impossible at the moment. So it's really early, and it's a great place to be, I think, because when will be mass adoption, you are already there.
Yeah, and I've been listening a little bit to Gary Vee, now you, and then I was reading more about it and what are the opportunities, and I was at the same time a little bit scared, a little bit amazed. So who buys the NFTs of your collection? Basically, depending, there are three categories, if I'm not wrong. There is the beginner, the pro, and they're basically like you buy them, and whether one single one, 5 or 10 NFTs.
Yeah. And
then you have different access to your different startups, and you have a community on Discord, if I'm not wrong. I'm curious, first of all, why do you think Web 3.0 is switching on this ownership, basically on this digital smart contract, while currently we have all these businesses like Netflix, like this membership? You have had yourself a community which was a membership community, if I'm not wrong. So what is the logic behind it? Why should we now, why should this corporation say, okay, we're gonna give ownership to the different users instead of keeping the control?
Yeah. So let's start from where we now. I think the question where I start, first of all, I'm Italian. I'm very skeptic. That's, I give you an example. When I moved here in UK, I live in Brighton, which is a very, very, the area where I live is very polite. I mean, Amazon come to my house. If they don't find me, they leave the package to my neighbor. And when I come back at home, the neighbor arrive with the package and say, look, I have a package that they left for you. It was not like that in Rome, okay, or in Italy. So that's the first thing. And I'm very skeptic. That's my approach. When I moved over here, one day a guy ring the doorbell and say, look, I have to check your electric panel. And I said, man, don't try with me or I call the police. And I close the door. And then my wife come back home and say, did you open the door to the electric person? And I say, no, it was a scam. In Italy, it's full of scam like that they say, I have the badge. And you say, yeah, no, I mean, I'm not an idiot. She say, no, he is really like that. Can you please open the door next time? You cannot always shut the door in front of the people, ring a door. So that's my approach. I don't believe, I don't trust. Maybe because in Italy, we are used like that. You try to cross the road and car will never stop. So you are very skeptic about everything. So that's my approach. And I'm 50. So I saw a lot of things in my life just because I lived 50 years. So when I see this Web3, I see all the problems, like tons of problems. NFT, technology, is only a link. The image you can change, but then you have to put it on the decentralized server. But can you change the metadata? And I don't know, ownership. Who wants the ownership? I mean, there are so many things. And there is a good viral video, by the way. I think Folding Idea is called, that do a list of all the problems, that there are in this Web3 crypto world. But on the other side, if you have some history of technology, you understand that at the beginning, tech is always like that. If I did the photography in 2000 of e-commerce, I would have said, Amazon, no chance. I still remember a conference where I went as a speaker and I said, look, there is this thing called e-commerce. It's really cool. And one CEO from a company, very famous company in Italy, he stand up, get the microphone in front of, 1,000 people and say, you are young, you don't understand anything, do you? I said, I don't know. I mean, why? No one will ever buy online. Do you think people will ever buy tomatoes? I mean, people to buy tomatoes, they need to smell tomatoes, and everyone laughing at me. I was on stage, alone, everyone thinking I'm an idiot there, at the end of a conference organizer look at me like, oh God, why didn't we invite this guy? I mean, it's saying about e-commerce. So I lived all that for many years. And if you only focus on the problems, is a very wrong way to see the direction. So the direction is that today we have a huge issue. And the problem is that we have few companies that control everything: Google, Apple, YouTube, and so on. So there is a problem with ownership. Let's give the example of a creator. If you are on YouTube or you do your podcast, you're not in control. You don't own your community. So you build your community. And then what happens is that to communicate with your community, you have an intermediary, which is YouTube, Facebook, and they decide what's your reach, how many people can you reach organically, or how much you have to pay. And maybe they say, look, let's ban your account because you say something wrong according to their terms of use. So you are not in control. You have zero ownership. You are a creator. You are a slave creating content, and you get a tiny percentage of the business. So the profit is private, few companies, and the costs, the general costs of production is public. So that doesn't work from a creator point of view. If you're a media, it doesn't work. I mean, I am the one who built my community thanks to platforms, but then you arrive at the point where you say, look, I want to have a direct relationship with my community. So there's one problem. And the same problem is with money. Who loves his bank? Who loves Wall Street? Are we sure that this is the best way to create a sort of good economy? I don't know. I'm not so sure about. So I see a lot of problems in today's situation. And the promise of Bitcoin is to go to a better solution, to a better situation. It will be fantastic and a dream? No, it will have a lot of problems, of course. But that's, human beings. So I think that ownership in general is very important, at least to have that option. So once you are able to say, all right, look, I own my money because I have my wallet and my private keys, okay, it's my money. Then you can decide to give your Bitcoin or whatever crypto in custody to Jack Dorsey company, because you say, look, I don't want to deal with that. Fine. But at least you have the option. And today you don't have the option. You didn't have the option before crypto, and you didn't have the option before NFTs to have a great direct relationship with your community and to reward also your community. I'll give an example. I wrote 3 books that in Italy were like bestsellers. Good.
I read 2 of those.
Right. I mean, I don't know. I write very bad, so I have nothing to say about the books. But, if you have a large community, of course, will be someone who buy the book and good. The problem is that even if you want to reward your community, is very difficult. With NFTs, you can say, look, I write a book and 20% of the income will be distributed to the NFT holders. That's it. Of course, you have problem. You have problem with accounting. We have legal problems. Is a security? How does it work? So that's the problem, and it will be solved. So all the problems that we see, technological, legal, fiscal problems, they'll be solved. And I hope that situation will get better than is now. But at the moment, it's very promising. So let's see where we get.
One thing that I'm curious to hear from you, how it's going to be working, not that I'm thinking it's not going to work in me as you. I've grown up in Italy and I have to shut off my skeptical person inside me and say, stop being critical and try to look at the positive side of the things. One thing I'm curious is once your the members of your community who buys these NFTs, how do you show to somebody you have an NFT without giving them actually the NFT to their wallet? And the other thing is how they can be sure what is going to be the forcing point of view that you're going to maintain the promises, because as far as I understood, the first bonding promises are within 3 years. So the next 3 years there will be events, and everything you launch will have some benefits for the owners. So how do they prove they have it, and how they can be sure that you're gonna maintain the promises?
Well, first you when you bet on a company or on a creator, on a person, on a talent, on anything, you're not sure. So that's the start, like you buy Netflix. How can I be sure that they will deliver? I don't know. How can I be sure that they will release new television series? And now you're sure, but at the beginning, I don't know, maybe they were only doing House of Cards and that's it. So it's always a bet. And sometimes you have companies that deliver, and sometimes you have companies that they do not deliver. So that's part of the let's say the business world. I mean, that's how the market works. So this is one thing. What is very important in NFT land is checking and double checking who is the NFT creator. So in my case, it's kind of easy because you can go on Google and check, okay, who is this guy, this bald 50 years old, and is everything there. So you can see my last 20 years in tech startups, and you can say, look, okay, but if I bet on this guy that is saying that if I bet on him, maybe he can build an international media by doing videos and interviews. And in that way, he will have a bigger network of contacts, and that network will be, and that media will be leveraged to launch startups, collaborations, and give us, priority access to NFTs or any kind of experience discounts and so on. It's very simple in my case to double check, because you say, all right, this guy is doing videos for 8 years, every day, not, one video a year, every day. I did, I think, 3,000 videos. So it's kind of easy to predict that, okay, probably he is able to produce content. And what about the people he can interview? How can he, scale internationally? Well, you just go and check who this guy interviewed in his life. And I don't know, I've interviewed everyone basically in Italy, and a lot of international people, from Matthew McConaughey to Jeff Bezos, Oliver Stone. And now I'm organizing all the interviews in the Web3 crypto sector. So I'll interview the founder of MetaMask, the founder of Cardano. I really like him. And I've interviewed CZ, the founder of Binance, that, by the way, today invested 200 million in Forbes. So we'll see also the media will be captured by crypto companies that are very rich. So it's that's how I suggest to verify people. Check the facts, try to check if they had some success, were they able to repeat their success or not? Or it was, just luck. Maybe, you go viral with a video, good, but then it doesn't work. And and then you see if there is something solid in the back, like, I don't know, Gary VeeFriends. Well, I mean, he's a great entrepreneur. He has a strong company behind him. He's very committed. Well, I think VeeFriends is a great investment. A lot of NFT projects, I think they're rubbish. There is nothing behind. There's a bit of art that is very subjective, and they will be wiped out as soon as the bubble bursts. So in my case, it's very transparent. I'm there. So if you want to join, good. If you don't want to join, that's it. I still go in this direction.
Is this opportunity of NFT only for people like you, or like the other famous NFT entrepreneurs so far, with a big, strong community behind them? How would you approach it at all if you had a smaller audience nowadays, and how would you do it if you were in that situation?
I think crypto world and crypto communities, and also NFT, are a different universe. It's like Matrix. It's a different world from anything else. So it doesn't matter if you have a large community on social media, because that community, like in my case, never used a wallet, well, they cannot buy an NFT. By the way, countries like Italy or also UK, you have problems. Even if you want to buy and move your money from the bank to an exchange, you have problems because a lot of banks say, no, we don't like that. So it's still a very difficult situation. So I think that if you want to do something in the sector, I would start first studying a lot on Twitter, YouTube, and trying to follow some Discords, trying to understand who are the interesting players, trying to understand the ethos, the ideology behind, because it's not about money here. And everyone focus on money, but it's not about money, this Web3. A lot of people doing stuff in Web3, they're already rich. I mean, Michael Saylor that talk about Bitcoin, he's a billionaire, the dude. So he doesn't have money problem, but there is an ideology behind that. Or I don't know, CZ, Binance. I've interviewed CZ and his net worth is 100 billion. He doesn't have to work. So they do it because they have, a vision, or Do Kwon, the founder of Luna, Terra Luna. They have a vision of how the world should be, more decentralized because there is too much power in the big tech. Let's get back the control of our data. Let's get our ownership back. That's the ideology. And let's see if we find a solution technically speaking. So that's the idea. And in this, if you understand that, then you start to have a relation with this community, and you can launch project also with a very small community. You don't need to have millions of followers. If you get the right way if you understand who are the leaders in your sector, well, then the communication is very quick. It's a global community, but it's also very, very tiny. And if you do something good, the word of mouth goes very fast, I think.
I understand. So focus on quality and create something original so that you can be noticed by all these players that are now powerful but not so numerous. So yeah.
Yes. Also because sorry to interrupt, but the other point is that I would say we are in that moment that everyone are looking for good news about crypto land somehow. Any kind of news. If Boy George launches his NFTs, he did. Or Serena Williams joined the board of Sorare, or any kind of news is good. So it can be celebrities, it can be big companies, but it can also be interesting original uses of NFTs, for instance. Anything is, it can spread very fast if it's interesting to the community, basically.
I understand. And what do you think is gonna be? Because when I read like I discovered more about it, and I understood that blockchain, we have these cryptocurrencies, and people so far have always thought this is like a way to invest and maybe hope that some of these cryptocurrencies skyrockets. But now what is coming up, it's all the infrastructure behind, so that we can create NFTs, we can create DAOs and stuff like that. What do you think this is going to be completely disrupting also the physical world in which we live? Because I mean, I hear it's a contract basically, and the DAO, it's like a decentralized organization, which is like this code that manages everything. It feels like we're building exactly the matrix, doesn't it? Is it going to be something that's going to be even more interacting with the physical world where we are?
Yeah. Yes. On one side, I really hope that human beings will be able to evolve and enjoy their life more. So that's a very important thing, and that we are not just slaves of technology, but technology is something that we use. So this is one important thing to always remember. Otherwise, we just move everyone in the metaverse and that's it. We sleep all day. We put VR screen on our face, and that's it. So I think it's very important to find the right balance in general. But the impact, I think, will be very, very, very interesting to see when all the politics will be touched. And I think the Assange DAO was the first signal of what will happen. The Assange DAO has raised, I think, 55 million to pay Julian Assange legal costs. By the way, I remember when I interviewed Julian Assange at an event a few years ago, and it's very surreal what's going on now at the moment. It's really like a movie, and now this Assange DAO is even more surreal. It's like I don't know, one of Strange Days, one of those science fiction movies. But imagine when they will use these DAOs to create a political party, support a political party, a cause, anything. It is very powerful, You get people from all over the world, very fast, very quick moving, and they can raise and distribute money. And they can move things. They can change the balance, for instance, of a campaign. I'll give you an example. In Italy, we had this case that was Beppe Grillo. So Beppe Grillo was a comedian. He was cancelled by the Italian television because he says something against one politician. So they say, all right, you cannot go on television anymore. That's it. And for this reason, he opened a blog. And I still remember I was doing this television show on Sky News, Italy. And one day I show a video on YouTube of a Grillo event where a lot of people were coming, like thousands of people. So he was organizing through the blog, people going into the street. It was really weird because until that moment, people thought internet is a virtual world, was like Second Life. It's not real. People just go there, but it's like, we are holograms, and then we go back in our real identity, real life, but there is no conjunction between the two words. And in that moment, it was clear that he had the chance to do something. And by the way, he did. He launched a political party, and then I don't know. I don't care about the political side of that, but from an organization and communication point of view, it was incredible. It was really powerful. And here's the same thing. Everyone think, crypto is like, the crypto war, the NFT, stupid Bored Ape, the animals, the images. That's not about that. So all of these organizations that are forming online are communities, and they will vote. They will be able to organize activities or campaigns, and they can lobby. They can do so many things. And by the way, a lot of these companies now, they have a lot of money. It's not like the 2000, where you were launching a startup. Yes, maybe you had like 3 million users, 5 million users, but you had zero money. It was like, let's try the business model. YouTube, zero money. They sold to Google, zero money. They were losing money. All the companies, all the main startups, that did great exit, zero revenues. So now it's completely different. I mean, Coinbase has billions in revenues and profits. Binance, Crypto.com. And the list goes on and on and on. So it will be interesting to see how this play out. I think that, for instance, publishers and media will change the narrative very soon about crypto, because they'll get bought. They'll be bought by all, the crypto companies. They get investors, crypto investors, NFT, maybe, a new DAO. I don't know, New York Times DAO gonna raise some money to buy, 40% of New York Times. I don't know. It will happen. So then the narrative will change, and this will be normal. And then we'll deal with all the problems that this new scenario will bring. That's it.
Yeah, for me, it will be really interesting to discover how this is going to play out. And I'm still, as I said, trying to look at the bright side and check the opportunities. So Monty, I don't want you to get divorced for real with your wife. I know it's late, you gotta go. I finish always the interviews in a positive note because this is a podcast for creatives, and we want to end up with this toolbox of inspiration. So who follows you knows that you get inspired by playing ping pong, first of all. And you read a lot
only about ping pong, basically. And tennis, recently in the last year, tennis.
So could you suggest something that you have consumed lately, like a book or a place you go, activity, movie, podcast, whatever you like that pumps you up?
Sure. I have a long list. So let's start with cold. So Wim Hof, I've interviewed also Wim Hof. I do cold shower every day. I think it's fantastic. Check with your doctor first, do it gradually, but definitely cold exposure is something really interesting. It's free, so you don't really need to have a big investment, and everyone can do it and can have a big benefit, and definitely is a good start. I recently bought a sauna blanket, which I also recommend. Is interesting. You know, the sauna has got a lot of benefits. So this is on the gadget side. And then Don't Look Up, I think, is a great movie and documentary, basically. Leonardo DiCaprio, Jennifer Lawrence is really interesting to study how, this world, also social media works, cognitive bias, human beings' reactions in front of very catastrophic situations. So I think it's a very interesting movie. And then definitely a book that I always suggest is from Seeking Wisdom, from Darwin to Munger. Charlie Munger is the Warren Buffett, let's say, co-investor, very famous investor, who hates, by the way, Bitcoin. And also Warren is not so happy about Bitcoin. But it's a great book. I think Charlie Munger got a lot of wisdom, and is an interesting reading if you want to understand your cognitive bias and how to take better decisions. At the end, that's the goal, instead of trying to be smarter than the other ones, let's try to be less stupid, to get less stupid decisions. That's basically Charlie Munger mantra, and I totally agree with that.
Yeah, and to remind everybody who are listening that if they want to be part of the Crazy Furies, you announced that it's going to be available until the 22nd at 2 o'clock, I think, Central European time, or British time.
I think so. I think I'm always now, I live with different time zones. So 22nd, 22, 2, 22 at 2. Basically, we played on the 2 number.
Yeah, so I'm wishing you all the best. I hope that almost all of the 10 or 10,000 gonna be sold out, and I would end as you would end. That's it.
Thank you so much. I'll see you soon.
Thank you.